Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rina the Wolffe, and today I want to talk about a little bit more serious topic because let's be honest, we spend our times with work at least 8 hours a day and the environment matters. So in the past 10 years, I have met bosses, leaders, good, bad, mediocre. And in most cases, they really pushed me into resigning. Or exceptionally, they actually convinced me to stay. So I will not give you specific examples, company names, or a specific timeline. Most probably I will just talk about random experiences, not in a linear timeline. Because if you know where I worked before, I really don't want anyone to go against any of my leaders, bosses. But let's be honest, the moment we know who our manager, team lead, supervisor is, we know if it is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. So some time ago, I worked somewhere. It was customer service actually, and we did not really have like direct team leads. We had supervisors, and these supervisors reported to a team lead. I knew the team lead, she was great. Then she went on maternity leave, and well, things changed. But in the meantime, I also left the firm for a specific reason. I will not tell because then the timeline will be revealed. Anyway, it was fun, and when I first worked there, my supervisor was a great person. So at the beginning, I was struggling with everything, especially with the handling time. I was very nervous and I was so clumsy with everything. So I did not know who my supervisor would be. But then he came, he said, "Listen, I will shadow you again." And he gave me some tips and tricks. He helped me with my anxiety, and I got better, like significantly better. And then he was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be your supervisor. It's official now." So it was great. It was great working with him, but then it had to end because I had to do something. But then I returned to this company, to this customer service, for about 2 months because this was unbearable with the new management. I had no idea what to do. I was not led. I was commanded, and I did not like it at all. So I was like, okay, I will find something else. So this was like a good experience at first, but then when the management changed, it was just not as good as it used to be. I have a very bad experience on one hand. I worked somewhere, and I think that was like one of the most crippling experiences. And this time I will talk only about leaders, bosses, supervisors, managers, not colleagues, not the work environment. But I will get back to it in another video. So in this company, the hierarchy was a little bit different because we worked by region, by country, and we had supervisors, but we had a team lead and then another team lead. So it was a little bit fuzzy. Anyway, the supervisors there were good. Even when I started, the supervisors were great. From time to time, I got more responsibilities. and it was good for a while. But when I started to have ideas on how to improve the processes, things started to turn to shit. I'm not going to lie about it. One of my leaders loved how vocal I am. This particular boss hated it. So we had some discussions on how I thought processes could be improved, and she hated it just because I was like full of ideas, full of potential, and I was really enthusiastic. And it was just weird. I will get back to this particular story because it was not only the boss who bugged the shit out of me. I will talk about this one particular story in another video when we get to toxic work environment and toxic colleagues. So everything I said from that point, it was not good enough. But I was not the only one who felt that way. Technically, about half of the team, or maybe 2/3 of the team, felt like something is not okay. The way she is trying to lead is not okay. So at first I tried to be a bridge between the boss and the team. And I was straightforward with her. I told her, listen, this is not working. You are not communicating with us. You are trying to keep us blind. We don't know what's going on, and most of us don't like it. And she hated how vocal I was. I was the first person who addressed these concerns, so I made myself into a target. And ironically, this was my advice to her, that with this, she's just making herself into a target that we can be angry with. And after that, it was not that good. And it's putting it mildly. So one of the colleagues from my team, because we had like smaller teams by countries, by regions, one of my colleagues left, and we got a guy, and with him I could learn a lot. He supported me. He always explained what I should do. He was a great guy, really. And the numbers got better, significantly, seriously. And the boss was really surprised, and all she could say was like, well, I am positively surprised. Not a thank you, nothing like wow, or I see and appreciate your efforts, nothing like that. So after a while, a few of us had enough. Some people who actually had the guts to do this. And we decided to talk with the boss's manager. With this particular manager, I had no issues with. I loved her. She was always sweet, sometimes overwhelmed, but that was her job, and she's done it well. So we addressed our concerns with the boss's manager. It turned out, because she was just like walking by that meeting room, so she actually saw who was in the room with her manager, and it was not good after that. So time kept passing by. I gained more and more responsibilities, and then all of a sudden, like without any concrete reports or anything like that, she was like, from now on, you will need to report weekly what you do. We will keep checking the numbers, da 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 da. And if it is not improving, we will have a discussion. And I was like, you are seriously putting me on PIP, which is personal improvement plan, even though the numbers are good now. So I knew it was because of my attitude, because I wanted change, because I wanted my team to feel good. Well, now I have to blow the timeline. The only reason I believe I was not fired because of my attitude is that the pandemic came, so we could work from home, and in the last minute she was like, okay, so we lift the PIP, and I was like, screw this. So after this, I had a really hard time keep believing in managers. But there was a guy who was great. I mean, as a person, he was great. He was funny. He tried to find a balance between being a manager and our friend. We always had lunch together. It was fun. But as time kept passing by, he realized this will not work out. Like, I know it's hard, and finding the balance of being like part of the team but be a manager and have respect, it's not an easy task, right? We loved him, but he was just like mediocre. And I think this is my personal opinion. As a team lead, he still had some things to learn. He definitely had room for development, and I hope by now he could find this balance. He was a good guy, and sometimes I do miss him, really. So there were really, really bumpy roads. I mean, there were bosses I did not particularly hate or loved. I have this one experience when I thought this is going to be it. So I was struggling somewhere with new applications we used, and we were still in the pandemic era, so we could work from home as much as we wanted, but if we could go to the office, that was really appreciated, and that's what I did. And then I think it was not much before my probation ended, and my girlfriend at the time got COVID, and of course I did not want to spread it. I had the worst headaches for about 2 weeks. But I was like, I could work, but I was slower. And I was like, listen, I will need to work from home because I really don't want to spread COVID among you guys. And at first he was like, yeah, sure, okay. And I was like, thank you. And during meetings, everybody asked how I was. And I was like, I'm getting better, thank you. But my head is killing me, so I will be a little bit slower than I want to be. And everybody was like, yeah, fine. And then I returned after these 2 weeks. He gave me a warning that I should do more, and I was like, okay, and I will. I'm feeling better, so now I can. Then we had a long weekend, and when I returned, he was like, this is not going to work. And I was like, dude. So I did not want to fight. I just felt like, dude, no one would have worked for you with COVID for 2 weeks. And that's for sure, because I wanted to work on the numbers, and this was one of my worst experiences. I mean, there were some managers or some companies who said, yeah, we will teach you, you will have the trainings, And then, well, there was one particular case when someone said, oh, we actually don't have anyone who could train you. And I was like, okay, this is not what we agreed upon. So I had to leave like almost immediately. Then there was this other case when, well, your predecessor is no longer here. She left some notes, we will check, but then the program acted up. The reports were not correct. The reports were incorrect and nobody could fix it. And then they were like, well, the numbers are not good. And I was like, oh no shit, this is what I've been talking about. So I knew that these things were actually a good change for me. Now, I have to talk about another boss. I think, and I seriously think that she's not a bad person, but maybe just not capable of being a good lead or manager. First of all, when I joined this company, this is an outsourcing company, so I was hired, and for like weeks, they had no idea what to do with me or what I should be doing. So after a little while, I noticed that this person also has no idea what she's doing. She's trying, but it was not working out. She seemed to be clueless regarding the job, and I am not sure if it's true, but even the team she led before, almost the whole team resigned because of her poor leader skills. And I'm not trying to antagonize her. As a person, I have no issues with her. I think as a person, she's cool, she's lovable. But then it was just like, it was getting ridiculous. So nobody had any idea what to do with me. I kept doing my job the way I was asked, and then there was these accusations that I'm not working. And I was like, dude, do you want me to put you on CC in each and every email I send, or what exactly do you want? So it was getting ridiculous, and I think I gave up when the company decided to have our times measured, like literally what we do and for how many minutes. And I was like, dude, you serious? So I couldn't stay. I couldn't stay there. I was not the first. I think I was the 8th person who resigned. And not much after I did, this manager also resigned. So it was not like, she was not toxic. She was not like a boss type. I think she was a little bit lost, but that's okay. So I already talked about the best manager I could have in the previous video. He was golden, and he showed me what a real team leader is. So here in this team, in the big team, we have at first 4 smaller teams, and I think he was the best lead I could ever have. And here's the reason why. When I felt lost, he showed me a way, or he gave me tips on how to do it. He could always motivate me. And when we did not see eye to eye, because that happened, we just tried to find some common ground. And then we agreed that, yes, he is right, but I'm also right because he believed in me. And I think that's one of the most important things that a leader could do. And this team in particular, I mean, I just mean this small team, not the whole team, was the best. And I think the thing that really made him a great leader, when he saw an opportunity for someone, a project or some chance for development, right away he talked to the person and said, look, we have this opportunity, so if you want to grab it, I will vouch for you 100%. I will back you up. This person believed in me. He loved how vocal I was. He loved how I always stood up for my teammates, how I was never afraid of addressing concerns, and how I wanted to show that I'm more than capable of doing my job. And it's a little bit touching, and I'm trying not to cry, but he was not my manager in the past 6 months or so. I can't specifically remember. And we had this one last talk before I left the firm, and I told him, I was honest about it because I wanted him to know that he was the best manager I could have in the past 10 years. And I don't know anything about the future, if he would be surpassed or not, but he always had my back, and not only mine. Most of the people he led was supported by him. And for me, it's really important that I am led and not commanded. That's not working for me. Some people still like boss types. I don't. I I seriously believe that the time of bosses expired and they have nothing to do in the 21st century. Anyway, he made me feel appreciated, and I know he truly did appreciate me. I know that he kept pushing me into projects because he believed in me. And when I felt a little overwhelmed, we talked about it. And he always assured me that I have his back, that he will always back me up. And it was true. And after him, I got a boss. He was trying to be a boss, and I'm still not trying to antagonize him. I think he is just very young. This is his first team lead position, and I think he still has a lot to prove. And I'm not saying he's terrible as a person. I am sure he's a great person. We have never been that close, and maybe this time he will learn a lot about leading instead of commanding, expecting, things like that. And hopefully that will happen. And I'm going to miss the best team lead I could ever have, because it's not easy to lose a person like that. Anyway, guys, this video has been going on for way too long, I know. So I will end it here. And if you have any positive or negative experience, feel free to share them. Without any names. We're not naming names, we're not pointing fingers. But feel free to share your experience. I am very curious about your own journeys. Okay, guys, if you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. But if you would leave a comment on why you hated it, that would be much appreciated. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.